Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Dining Made channel. I'm Chipper,
I'm Romina.
and we're going over episode 1124 of One Piece today.
Completely surrounded, the operation to escape Egghead.
Oh, you got that. Oh, it's
I
good.
take good notes.
Yeah, it sounds like it. The first thing I wanted to talk about before we even talk about the episode is uh, Kazuki Yao was like replaced as Frankie by like Subaru uh, Kimura. And like it's funny because I showed you the transfer right a few months ago,
Yes.
and it was so like emotional, right? Like he was teaching him how to do the
It
Frankie thing and all
was.
that, and I think you forgot. And
I forgot. So we were watching the episode
yeah,
and I was like, wait, who's talking? And I feel bad saying that because I know how much he cares about this.
yep.
And I know he can't do exactly the voice. And it'll take some time.
And he's kind of making his own too, because I mean, you're not gonna have like anyone that is. There's not another Kazuki Yao, right? Like I mean, not only with Frankie, but like some of the other characters
Right.
that he did, like Bon Clay, like some of the other like
I
some of my
mean,
favorite characters in the whole show and in other anime, like were from him. It's such a distinctive voice. You can tell when you watch other anime, you're like, oh yeah, there he
that's
is.
him.
It's one
Yeah.
of those like those iconic voices. But like I said, like Kimura though, like is really good too. He's Aoi from Jujutsu Kaisen.
Right.
Yeah, so like he's like really good in his own right, but
Mhm.
it's just like kind of a shock, right? Like when you see that, you're like, wait, that's not
It
how
was very
Frankie sounds.
different.
Yeah,
Yeah. But it's okay. Just, gotta get used to
I
it.
had to acknowledge that. Then we can go to the episode now, but I had to get that off my chest.
All right. So we are finally going back into the Straw Hats, and they kind of have a little recap again, reminding us that Bonnie was sighted, and then kind of going back to York, talking to the elders bringing up the importance of the mother flame.
And
And
Saturn, I don't know why. Like Saturn always seems to be the one that's doing all the talking, right? Maybe Mars a little bit, but like,
mhm,
right, he's always the one directing, like directing the on the ground troops.
yes. And then we finally get to Luffy's plan where he said, if you want to save York, then you need to let us out.
Mm-hmm.
And York confirms that, oh no, he's going to kill me. And then we kind of cut into again like views of other people in the world, including Vivi, and like listening with Morgans about what's happening
Oh yeah.
with the hostage situation.
Yep.
And that reminded me, and I felt like I needed to do a little recap and like remind myself about the craziness of the reverie
Yeah.
and King Cobra and the importance of Vivi again.
Yeah.
So, just a reminder for everyone. I needed it myself. Vivi's dad is King Cobra, and he's the 12th king of Alabasta. And he was trying to have the meeting with the elders.
Yeah.
And then this is where he finally became aware of Imu being the shadow
yeah.
ruler type. And that's what Sabo witnessed and was able to escape. With
And then they tried to pin it on him.
Yes.
Yeah.
And King Cobra
Oh.
entrusted him with this letter, piece of information that Sabo was able to take
Mhm.
before King Cobra basically sacrificed himself.
Yeah.
And that's what revealed the fact that their family, the Nefertari family, including Vivi, of course, bears the name D.
Yep.
So, there has to be some connection with Luffy and Vivi there.
And
So
the lost generation and the ancestor and all that. It's also really cool when they right before he sacrificed himself, before he met with all of them at Mary Jo, like that he was already sick. Like he was already dying,
So
and then
sick.
he just like he yeah. So he was just like, YOLO, let me let me do this.
And then kind of it goes back to, it takes us back to Luffy and trying to talk directly with the elders. I'm guessing giving like no respect in the way he talks to them in Japanese.
Yeah,
It
yeah,
seemed like it was a
yeah.
very casual
Well, which
tone.
yeah, which is hard for Luffy because he's always like that.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, even more so. They're because they care about it so much. It
Mm-hmm.
hits a little different. Like when he does it to them.
So he starts talking, and then all of a sudden, Robin comes in and stops him from giving valuable information to the elders. And then the elders obviously notice, and they're like, "Oh, that has to be Robin."
Yep.
And then we get a recap of what the priority of the elders are, the three main priorities.
Okay.
Obviously, York's safety, which seems to be directly connected
Right.
with the Mother Flame.
Right.
Records from Vegapunk,
Oh, yeah.
which
Yeah.
I'm guessing includes Ohara and other
Yeah.
items. And then the Mother Flame, which obviously is more connected with York. And then when they asked the priorities related to CP0, like Lucci and that team, they were like, this is not a priority. Literally, consider human life nothing more than insects.
Yeah. Which is pretty on brand for them.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. But that's what I was gonna say. That maybe you're getting to it, like when Nami came to her defense.
Yes. So then York comes in and says, well, I made a pact with the elders. If you even hurt me, you will disappear just like the island of Ohara. And then Nami comes in and hits her.
Yeah. Keep Ohada's name out of your mouth.
Yes. And then you see like Robin in the back, kind of like nice little smile.
Yeah. Yeah. She appreciates the kinship from her fellow member.
Yes. And then it kind of, after that, it cuts to Usopp talking to those agents that were in the basement starving to death.
Yeah.
That also was happening.
Yeah.
And they had given them a bunch of food and they were happy. Yeah. And then it reminds us that the Serafina are down there with them. And they were kind of scared, like, oh, can you relocate us, Usopp? And he's like, no, I can't really do that. But they can't do anything to you because they are in these, I forgot what they call them, like bubble balls that don't let them use their devil fruit powers.
Yeah, which could be important later on as well. But it's just
he knows what happens next.
No, but I'm just saying, just in general, like when you learn about the ocean, when you anything that can contain some of those powers, like from devil fruit users, like it's
interesting.
Something to keep an eye on. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Well, then from there it goes kind of into Snake, who is the Hancock version. And they realize or thank her for undoing the petrification that she did.
Right.
And it tells us that Luffy was the one who actually went to her and said, please, like, save my friends. Hancock, please. And then all of a sudden something inside it gets triggered and she, has all the heart signs, falls in love.
Even the Seraphim like version of Hancock like can feel something for Luffy to give her a little empathy there, like where she wouldn't have normally had it.
And of course, Vegapunk is super interested in that and like, oh, how was this transmitted?
Right.
This is kind of like this happened after the creation, right? Mm-hmm. So that was really interesting too. So then they're trying to, I guess, get ready to escape. York says that she has a password that they can't access. The Vegapunks start trying to decode that and compute their way out of it. And then it cuts to CP0, right? Lucci and Stussy. Stussy starts being kind of nice, at least, to Sanji. He offers her a coffee. Of course, he's in love. Yeah. And then it ends with Nami looking at how do you pronounce it? Logos?
Yeah.
Nami, looking at her log pose and then seeing that there's one arrow pointing to Elbaf.
Yeah, there you go. What do you think awaits them in Elbaf? Like, it's really cool because, I mean, they started setting up Elbaf with, I mean, when was that? Like, almost 1,000 episodes ago, probably. It was one of the first few places they went. I mean, like, first few people they met, right? Like,
yes.
Dory and for it to come full circle. Now to where they're actually going. And
they showed up later when they came to help them.
They've come back intermittently, but like just the land of the giants. Like,
yes,
like
they haven't
Usopp and Luffy were like really excited about visiting there sometime. And like for them to finally get that opportunity to do that is really cool.
It's so exciting.
Yeah.
But that's pretty much it for the episode, I think. Oh, no, that's not it. Never mind.
What else you got?
Okay, there is more. All right. So Vegapunk then has the plan to use the Vega Force 1 to fly out from kind of like the
escape from we have escape from.
They actually have to try to escape.
Yeah.
And then they look at I guess it shows Luffy, Bonnie, Lilith, and Frankie deciding to run to the Sunny themselves. And then it cuts to the Marines. Back to Kizaru. You know, he's
This was really interesting for me
Mhm.
because you kind of go into like Kizaru's relationship
with
with Sentomaru.
Sentomaru.
Yeah. And like that's it was really cool, right? He's like, oh Jiki, like when first of all, like a really cool attack, whatever that was that Kizaru did with the light to like bounce it off.
So
Yeah.
even before that,
Yep.
when Kizaru, it shows, okay, back to the Marines, where it shows Kizaru walking in with the elder. And the elder says, you know, why can't you just, you're light. Why can't you just go in there and
Right.
obliterate them?
Right.
Right? And what does Kizaru say? He says, it wouldn't be cool of me to embarrass
Yeah.
the person who's my friend, he said, who is defending this. We know this is Sentomaru. And then he said, let me stick to my principles. The elder agrees.
Yep.
And then that's where it kind of goes to, all right, he's going to use this power called the Sacred Yata Mirror,
Ah, yeah.
which is aimed at the island, starts bouncing, and then Sentomaru, it shows kind of like obviously like a sumo wrestler, right? And like, he's like, you're finally here, uncle.
Yeah.
And then right before that, they showed this image
Yata no Kagami,
of
right?
the past. I guess they're past together. And we had never seen it before,
No,
I
don't
think.
so, yeah.
I don't think we've seen anything about their past together. But just that image of like what looked like a little kid and Kizaru, like instantly like impacted me, right? And then it cuts to him saying, you're finally here, uncle. He gets excited, sets himself up to receive. And he said has the greatest defense in the world, ready to receive this, mirror power.
Yeah. And I've always thought there was like a chance, at least, that like Kizaru, like just the style that he has, could like eventually be like maybe another member of the Straw Hats or something. And like that's something which I don't know. Like, by the way, like it's not like a thing, but I've just I've been telling you that for like a couple
Yes,
years.
you
Like
said
it's
that.
possible. Like I don't know who that next member is gonna be, but I think he's definitely a candidate if nothing else, because like you're starting to see that. And we talked about this in the last episode, but like Oda is so good about just giving characters like a little bit more depth, a little bit more depth, a little bit, and it just keeps going as the story goes forward. It also goes backwards just as much, if not more, and you learn like more layers between like and more layers and more interconnectivity between some of the characters as well, which is like just amazing.
Yeah, I'm really excited to learn about their past together. So hopefully we'll get some of that in the next episode.
Yeah.
And then it just ends with Luffy sensing the power that's there. He says, someone really strong is here.
Yeah.
And who knows what's going to happen next.
We'll see.
Is Luffy going to fight Kizaru in the next episode, or is it going to be mainly Kizaru and Sentomaru?
Yeah, we'll see. We'll see next week. And also we had the new music, like the new
That was
ending. We
fun.
saw the new opening last week, but seeing the new ending this time was always good for on me. I always like the music because it's always fun to sing whatever the latest version is. Like when we go to karaoke in Japan, so we've got like a month and a half or something to get ready
I
for
know, I
before we
can't
go
wait
back
to
this
go.
summer. But okay, yeah, that's it for this episode, guys. Thank you so much for watching, and we'll see y'all next time. Peace.
Ciao.